Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to CIET NCERT's 5-day online training on safe online communication. My name is Tanvi Khurana and this entire training has been organized by CIET NCERT in collaboration with Cyber Peace Foundation. Today we have entered into day 1 and the topic for day 1 is modes of online communication. If you have any questions, any queries, please reach out to us. I would request you to register yourself, be a participant in this online training, and at the end of this 5-day training, you will be given a quiz link where you can participate and be a part of that quiz. If you score more than 70%, then you'll be awarded a certificate. Regarding the certificate, just want to clarify that it will not be given instantly. Please allow us 30-day time to give you the certificates. The preparation also needs some time. I would request you to please have some patience. Let me just give you a brief about this entire training that we are going to go with, safe online communication. Well, seems like our life is dependent on internet these days, and we communicate with all our be it personal level or professional level on social media platforms or various other modes. So what are those modes? We are going to discuss each and every mode in detail, and for that we have an expert with us. So let me please introduce you to all, and she is Miss Anandita Mishra. Ma'am, a very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here, Tanvi.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, ma'am. Ma'am is a senior trainer from Cyber Peace Foundation, and she'll be answering all your doubts, all your questions towards the end of the program. And I'll be describing how you can be a participant in this program and all the details regarding this online training. So please watch this program, and for any questions, there are so many methods through which you can connect with us. For example, you want to email us. The email ID would be training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. If you want to call us, the number would be 8800 440 559. At this moment, you're watching us on eVidya, channel number 6 to channel number 12, and also on our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official. In the live chat box, you can write down your questions, your queries, and share them with us. So, we have good 1 hour for this entire discussion. Before we begin this discussion, I have an announcement to make, that is regarding India's G20 presidency. We are extremely proud of the fact that India assumed G20 presidency and would convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country this year, that is 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history, as it seeks to play an important role by finding global pragmatic solutions for the well-being of all, and in doing so manifest its true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or should I say, the world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam also translates to one earth, one family, one future, and that is exactly the theme of this year's India's G20 presidency. So without further ado, let me please request Ma'am, would you like to tell us what is the focus of our program and what are those modes of online communication that we are going to discuss?
Yes, so to start with, communication has begun from the time man came on earth. So, starting with caveman paintings, we all read about in our early man studies of history, to the smoke language, sign language, drum beats, say the lights that were used to flash to each other. Some or other kind of communication had started before man even started talking. With oral speech, then there was passing down orally or whatever knowledge man had gathered, going on to written language, that is on tablets, paper, on bark, on cloth, the cuneiform script, there are hieroglyphics, and moving on to the electrical age where we had the telephone and the TV and the landlines, and now to the digital age where we have an array, a plethora of smart devices that connect us digitally. So we have come a long way indeed, and we are aware of all these different stages of growth that has brought us to this place, from the time of cave paintings to the time when we are exchanging files, thoughts, actions, everything online. So it makes for a wonderful study. And I think we should start talking about the different modes of online communication by sharing my presentation with you. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely, ma'am.
All right. So, what we used to have earlier, before the coming of the digital age, is where we had to inform person or pass on a message from person to person. In the days of kings and queens, we had seen a scroll reader going from town to town announcing what has happened. In the days later on, there were newspapers, the print media came into existence. But what can the digital media do? It can allow you to communicate with millions one go efficiently, smartly, within the minimal time. Can you imagine the amount of time it saves us? And actually, nothing is lost in translation if the communication is made succinct and correct. So, with the minimal loss in translation, the right message reaching the right people, the shortest time. This has made dissemination of information so very prevalent and helpful today. So we will talk about the types of communication in the digital world, the styles of communication, and the platforms over which we generally communicate, what to share. That's a very sucking question. What to share, what not to share. Because just because we are communicating doesn't give us the freedom to say what is there in our mind. And we should just touch upon the safe practices because throughout this week, we will be talking about communication. Safety is of paramount interest, as we shall see. The best way to communicate and safest perhaps is when two people are talking or a few people are talking together face to face. You know exactly who you are speaking to. The speaker knows who the audience is. They know about each other's backgrounds. They have a sure footing. And the conversation, the content stays there or maybe carried to a few other people when the listeners move around. In the online world, we have always to keep in mind that even if I'm conversing with just one person, that matter may become viral one day. This point has to always be playing in our mind when we are communicating. So, time now for us to know how are the communication styles that were different in the offline, the real world that we live in, and in the online world. There is not much difference if you look at it. We have verbal communication takes place in the offline world. We talk face to face, we talk in class, we talk with our teachers, we talk with our employers, colleagues, people in the market, people at a station, in different places. We're having a face to face talk. We may also be using devices like a telephone, the landline telephone you have, without internet connection, or it can be a one-way talk when you are listening to a radio, a record player, a cassette player, or a TV broadcast. So that's verbal. The non-verbal ones are the signs that we use a lot. You see what I'm doing? I'm using my hands. Why am I using this non-verbal uh, thing? Because I'm emphasizing on the words. If I were to do this in front of you, you know this word, this point is important. So the body language makes a big difference. The tones that is used, the eye expressions, the gestures, even, when people are talking, people from different countries, people from different regions, religions, there is a differences in the way they talk, their intonations, their accents, their dress. So it makes a big impact on what is being said. If you're not aware of the other person's culture, the exchange of knowledge or information can be hindered. So these are all non-verbal communication that takes place. Written takes place through letters, through memos, any entries your teachers made in your diaries or in your notebooks. In the adult world, it might be communication with your colleagues, your superiors, or when you read a paper or a magazine, that's written, or when you read a book. Sign language mimes are also widely used, Either it can be a sign language to communicate, the universal sign language, or miming an action, a sign like supposing somebody takes just do this. You know you're being asked to move away. Not a single word has to be used. And then there are visuals, a pie chart, or even a visual like if you show somebody a railway crossing, even if you cannot communicate, a person who doesn't speak your language, if you just show them a picture, they would know what you're talking about. That is how tourists going to other countries often communicate with the locals out there. Then there are some things that don't need any words, any signs at all. Like, simple things that contain an object. I take a rose and give it to my mother. Or today being Guru Purnima, I give it to my teacher. So that symbolizes everything. What happens in the digital world? I am not handing over things. I'm not having any, I cannot express my body language because you cannot see me mainly unless a visual contact is there through videos. You cannot hear my tone when I'm writing an email, so you cannot guess whether I'm writing in jest or whether I'm angry or I'm serious. There is a lot of lag, therefore, because you have to know what the person is feeling. Otherwise, the meaning of the communication may be lost. The whole communication may not come through. So when we have communication in the digital world, it again may be verbal. Now, verbal here means talking. Talking how? Via smartphones, by making calls, audio message, or recording messages or videos, or one way when we watch OTT platforms or when we watch some breaking news, somebody talking, and that allows us to write questions and connect, or through large media connections like Zoom, where you can participate and listen and exchange ideas. Non-verbal is like when we use emojis, emoticons, pictures to express our views. Written can be a web page or an email, a messaging app, chat box, chats and gaming sites. Then there are pop-ups that come up on your screen. There, or you can have, memes people bring about, and with a little message written on at below. Or you can have memos from the industry, and all the time we are doing writing on social media that can be written, or blogs and microblogs. And the visual content here is all the visual blogs that people call vlogs, podcasts, recorded videos. These may be the visual content. The digital networking, as I've already told you, has immense advantage of saving time, being efficient, reaching out to large numbers. But there are certain limitations which may hinder. And before we come to those limitations, let us study the various forms of digital communication that are in use now, so that we know what may hinder our communications and how we can avoid those glitches. So, what are encrypted emails like Gmail and Outlook that we mostly use? These emails are encrypted. So, the content is scrambled at the beginning, and only the person it is sent to can receive it. And at that end, it gets unscrambled. So, somebody in the middle will not be able to steal and read the content. We also use file sharing apps like OneDrive, Google Drive, where we share files, work on the same file. Then there are instant messaging apps, very popular these days because you can instantly message, get a reply. You don't have to make the call, wait for the person to take the call, and if they don't take the call, you have to wait some more time. A lot of time is lost. Instant messaging or IM apps are very useful that way. Again, you can address many people together. So if you have, say, a WhatsApp group of 200 people living in your society, you can straight away send one message that tomorrow water will not be available from 8 a.m. to 12 noon because of tank cleaning. So everybody on that group comes to know. You don't have to inform anybody individually. Isn't that so convenient? So Messenger, Telegram, WeChat, Signal, Viber, these are the ones we use on a regular basis. Video and image hosting like YouTube, Vimeo, or even Flickr. Then there are chat rooms. Chat rooms at one point, the ones that were unmonitored, were banned because they allowed abusive or inappropriate words to be used. Chat rooms were also dangerous for young people because they were found to be places groomers and pedophiles visit to cultivate children. But there are other chat rooms also where people chat. They have focus chats, or they have just plain friendship, or exchange views on certain matters like Omega, Chatroom, Meet.me. Chat rooms specifically for gaming apps are something like Discord, where gamers have serious conversation about games, online games, and their style. On social media, you have apps like Instagram, Facebook. These are very popular apps in India, at least. Blogs, microblogging site like Twitter, or you have blogging sites like sulekha.com. You can create your own blogs and publish, or you have TechCrunch for tech related blogs, professional ones like LinkedIn, wherein most of us would be there. So now, as I told you before, we need to know what are the pitfalls to avoid in each of these different kinds of communication sites online may happen. So social media apps are the most popularly used, and they are the ones that are basically there to help us connect, communicate, and build relationship. It might be between strangers who build friendship. It might be between a group of like-minded people, say all chess lovers. They have a club going on, and they exchange views, latest playing techniques, tell each other about the games they have watched, the problems they have faced. It's a fabulous place to build relationship. Even businesses are using this to stay in touch with their customers, know their issues and concerns, and thus improve themselves and build trust. They help us to reach out to a large number and build a trusted audience of friends, or as I told you, clients. For being a good social media user, you need to be authentic. Avoid anything that is fake, because if your profile is found to be continually sharing fake messages or abusive or rude messages, nobody would like to be friends with that profile for a long time. You won't, or maybe people would stay along with you for the fun of it, because there is a lot of trolling and abuse being exchanged, but nobody would trust you as a profile. So you need to stay original, whatever your style be, whatever you're comfortable in being, you be original, you be yourself, you be interesting, talk about things that others would also like to hear about, discuss, and stay relevant. But do not talk about things that has no meaning or importance for anybody else, because then you lose your relevance. And the other was file sharing apps, mostly used among people to exchange their files, large number of files, wherein they share, they work on them, make edits, and discuss. It is very important that while doing so, you stay aware of the fact that person to person network on that, if you share a file, if the file, if it is infected, then if you download it, then your computer, your network may or system may also become infected. So you have your security software in place for that. Instant messaging, who doesn't use it? We are all WhatsApping all the time. If you see people, even if they're working, even if they're listening to something, their fingers are flying. They're either sending a message on Messenger or WhatsApp, or replying to a tweet. They become very popular. And so popular are they that instead of sitting and calling up customer support that my TV is not working, what do I do, and waiting for a long time, there are these customer support WhatsApp call numbers, wherein you can lodge your complaint, give the picture, give the videos, and they'll get back to you with the responses. It's all fast and very smart. But there can be data breach. If the account is compromised, malware can be sent. So if there is a link sent about in a message about a sale which is fake, and you click on that link, not only is the user compromising themselves, they are also compromising all their contacts. So the user has to be extra careful, because otherwise the instant messaging app of all other their contacts will also get the same message. and there will be one among 10 at least who are going to click on it. So you got to be careful, and then you can have a good time on it. On video and image hosting apps, specifically for children, if you like creating videos and use them, you need to use safe searching methods